Welcome to an amazing story that will inspire you and help improve your English skills. The Amazing Life of Soichirohonda Dreams, Hard Work, and Success. Part 1: Early Beginnings. A curious child. In a small Japanese village called Komyo, a baby boy was born on November 17, 1906. His name was Soichirohonda. His family was not rich. His father, Guy Honda, worked as a blacksmith, fixing tools and bicycles for the villagers. His mother, Mika, was a weaver who made cloth. Young Soichiro was different from other children. While most kids played with toys, he was fascinated by machines. He would spend hours watching his father work in the blacksmith shop. The sound of metal hitting metal, the smell of oil, and the sight of broken things becoming useful again made him very happy. "Father, can I help you?" little Soichiro would ask every day. His father would smile and give him small tasks. Soon, Soichiro learned to use tools and fix simple things. His hands were small but skilled. The first car. One day, when Soichiro was about 7 years old, something amazing happened in his village. A car drove through. This was very rare in rural Japan at that time. Most people had never seen a car before. Soichiro was playing outside when he heard a strange noise. Then he saw it, a big, shiny automobile moving without horses. He was so excited that he ran after the car. The vehicle left deep marks on the dirt road. After the car was gone, Soichiro bent down and touched the tire tracks. He followed these tracks for miles, amazed by this wonderful machine. That night, he told his parents, "One day, I will make cars." His parents smiled, not knowing that their son's dream would eventually come true. School struggles. School was hard for Soichiro. He wasn't interested in reading books or memorizing facts. His mind was always thinking about machines and how things worked. His teachers often complained that he didn't pay attention. "Your son is always daydreaming," they told his parents. What the teachers didn't understand was that Soichiro learned differently. He needed to touch things, take them apart, and put them back together. He learned by doing, not by reading. One day, Soichiro found a broken bicycle in his father's shop. Instead of playing with friends, he spent the whole weekend fixing it. When the bicycle worked again, his father was surprised and proud. "You have a special gift," his father told him. "You understand machines." These words made Soichiro very happy. Maybe he wasn't good at school subjects, but he was good at something important. The stamp story. There's a famous story about young Soichiro that shows his creative thinking. His family couldn't afford a bicycle, so he had to walk to school. One day, he noticed that his family used a round wooden stamp to sign documents instead of writing their name. This gave him an idea. He carved his family's stamp into a bigger piece of wood, attached it to a handle, and made his own stamp. But this wasn't for paper, it was for the snow, in winter. He would press this big stamp into the snow as he walked, leaving his family's mark. The other children were amazed by his creativity. This story shows how Soichiro could find clever solutions to problems, a skill that would help him throughout his life. Part 2: Learning a Trade. Moving to Tokyo. When Soichiro was 15 years old, he made a big decision. He wanted to learn more about machines, especially automobiles. He knew that staying in his small village wouldn't help him achieve his dreams. So, with his parents' blessing, he moved to Tokyo, the big capital city of Japan. Tokyo was huge and busy compared to his village. There were tall buildings, crowded streets, and many cars and buses. Soichiro felt both excited and scared. But he was determined to find work with machines. He got a job at Art Shokai, a car repair shop. The owner, Yuzo Sakakibara, saw potential in the young boy and hired him as an apprentice. This meant that Soichiro would learn the trade of fixing cars. Hard work and dedication. Life as an apprentice wasn't easy. Soichiro worked from early morning until late at night. His hands became rough and often had cuts and bruises. Sometimes he was so tired that he slept on the workshop floor instead of going home. The other workers sometimes teased him because he was from the countryside and didn't know much about city life. But Soichiro didn't mind. He was there to learn, not to make friends. "Please show me how to fix this," he would ask the older mechanics. He watched carefully and remembered everything they taught him. Every day he learned something new: how to change oil, fix brakes, repair engines. He wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He wasn't afraid to make mistakes either. "Mistakes are your best teachers," he often said. This became one of his life philosophies. Becoming a skilled mechanic. After 6 years at Art Shokai, Soichiro wasn't just an apprentice anymore. He had become one of the best mechanics in the shop. Customers would specifically ask for the young Honda boy to fix their cars because he was careful and thorough. Mr. Sakakibara, his boss, was impressed with Soichiro's progress. He gave him more responsibilities and even let him work directly with important customers. "You have the eyes of an engineer," Mr. Sakakibara told him. "You don't just fix problems, you understand why they happen." These words meant a lot to Soichiro, who had never done well in formal education but excelled at practical knowledge. The racing dream. While working at Art Shokai, Soichiro discovered another passion: car racing. On his days off, he would go to watch races. The speed, the noise, the excitement, he loved it all. Soon, he wasn't just watching races, he wanted to participate in them. He started building his own race car from spare parts. He worked on it during nights and weekends, putting together pieces from different vehicles to create something unique. In 1936, he entered his first race. Though he didn't win, the experience was thrilling. Racing taught him about engine performance, car balance, and speed. These lessons would later help him design better vehicles. Racing also taught him about risk and failure. During one important race, his car crashed badly. Soichiro was hurt and had to spend weeks in the hospital. Some people thought he would give up racing after this accident, but they were wrong. "Falling down is not failure," he said. "Failure is when you don't get up again." Part 3: Starting his own business. Return to Hamamatsu. After gaining experience in Tokyo, Soichiro decided to return closer to home. In 1928, he moved to Hamamatsu, a city not far from where he grew up. There, with Mr. Sakakibara's blessing, he opened his own repair shop. Being a business owner was different from being an employee. Now Soichiro had to find customers, manage money, and make important decisions. It was challenging, but he enjoyed being his own boss. His shop became known for quality work. People said, "If Honda can't fix it, nobody can." This reputation helped his business grow. The piston ring venture. In 1937, Soichiro had a new idea. Instead of just fixing cars, he wanted to make car parts. He was especially interested in piston rings, important components of car engines. He started a company called Tokai Seiki Heavy Industry to manufacture these rings. But there was a problem: Soichiro knew how to fix cars. But he didn't know enough about metallurgy, the science of metals, to make good piston rings. His first attempts failed. The rings cracked or didn't fit properly. Many business owners might have given up, but not Soichiro. He decided to learn metallurgy properly. Despite having little formal education, he enrolled in technical courses. He studied at night after working all day. He read books about metals and did experiments in his workshop. Perseverance pays off. After many failures and much learning, Soichiro's piston rings finally met quality standards. He approached Toyota, a growing car company, hoping to sell his products to them. The first meeting didn't go well. Toyota's engineers found defects in his piston rings and rejected them. Instead of being discouraged, Soichiro asked them exactly what was wrong and how he could improve. "Come back when your products are better," they told him. For 2 years, Soichiro worked to improve his piston rings. He studied Toyota's requirements carefully and adapted his manufacturing process. He didn't give up. Finally, in 1939, Toyota accepted his piston rings.
This was a major victory for Soichiro.
His company began to grow, and he hired more workers. War, challenges. Just when his business was succeeding, World War II began. This created both opportunities and problems. The Japanese military needed parts for vehicles and planes, so Soichiro's company got many orders. However, resources became scarce. Metal was rationed, and fuel was expensive. Working conditions were difficult. During the war, Soichiro's factory was bombed twice. Much of his equipment was destroyed. It was a devastating setback. After Japan's defeat in 1945, the country was in ruins. Many factories closed. People were hungry and poor. It seemed like the end of Soichiro's business dreams. Part 4: The birth of Honda Motor Company. A new beginning. After the war, Japan faced a fuel shortage. Gas was expensive and hard to find. People needed cheap transportation. Soichiro saw this as an opportunity rather than a problem. He found a small supply of surplus military engines. These were tiny gasoline engines originally used for portable radios. Soichiro had an idea: why not attach these engines to bicycles? He mounted these small engines on bicycle frames, creating motorized bikes that used very little fuel. These were perfect for post-war Japan. People could travel to work or school without walking long distances. Neighbors began asking Soichiro to make motorized bikes for them too. Soon, he was producing these vehicles in small numbers. Official founding. In 1948, Soichirohonda met Takeo Fujisawa, a businessman with financial skills. The two men complemented each other perfectly. Soichiro was the creative engineer who knew how to build things. Fujisawa understood money, planning, and management. Together, they founded Honda Motor Company with an initial investment of 1 million yen, about $5,000 at that time. Their first real product was called the Type A, a motorized bicycle with a two-stroke, 50 engine. The company motto was "The Power of Dreams." Soichiro believed that dreams could become reality through hard work and persistence. The Super Cub revolution. In 1958, Honda created its most successful product yet, the Super Cub motorcycle. This small, affordable motorcycle had several innovative features: a 3-speed transmission that was easy to use, an automatic clutch that made it simple to ride, a step-through frame design that was convenient for everyone, including women wearing skirts, a quiet, clean 4-stroke engine, plastic body parts that didn't rust and were cheap to produce. The Super Cub was advertised with the slogan, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda." This campaign helped change the image of motorcycles from dangerous rebel machines to friendly, practical transportation. The Super Cub became the most produced motor vehicle in history, with over 100 million units made. It is still manufactured today, more than 60 years later. Early challenges. Success didn't come easily. In the early days of Honda Motor Company, there were many problems. Sometimes the engines broke down. Sometimes they couldn't get enough parts. Money was often tight. Once, when the company couldn't pay its employees on time, Soichiro gathered everyone together and apologized with tears in his eyes. He promised to work even harder to make the company successful. His honesty and emotion impressed the workers, who remained loyal to him. Soichiro was known for visiting the factory floor regularly. He would talk with workers, ask about their families, and listen to their suggestions. Unlike many company presidents who stayed in fancy offices, he liked being where the actual work happened. Part 5: Going Global. Looking beyond Japan. By the late 1950s, Honda was successful in Japan. Their motorcycles were popular and reliable.
But Soichiro had bigger dreams.
He wanted Honda to be an international company. Many Japanese businesses at that time focused only on the domestic market. Exporting seemed too difficult. But Soichiro was different. "If we succeed only in Japan, we are not truly successful," he told his team. "Our products should be good enough for the whole world." In 1959, Honda Motor Company established American Honda Motor Co., its first overseas subsidiary in Los Angeles, California. This was a bold move. Japanese products were not highly regarded in America at that time. Many Americans associated made in Japan with cheap, low-quality goods, taking the world by storm. When Honda motorcycles first arrived in America, established dealers didn't want to sell them.
They preferred selling American and European brands like Harley-Davidson and Triumph.
So Honda created its own dealer network. They found small sports shops and hardware stores willing to sell their motorcycles. They trained these dealers to provide good service.
The Super Cub was especially popular.
It was different from the big, loud motorcycles Americans were used to. It was quiet, fuel-efficient, and easy to ride. Even people who had never ridden a motorcycle before felt comfortable on a Honda. Honda's famous American advertising campaign, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda," helped change the image of motorcycling in America. Instead of leather-jacketed rebels, Honda ads showed ordinary people riding motorcycles: students, couples, even parents with children. By 1964, Honda had sold 1 million motorcycles in America. The company that many had laughed at was now the top-selling motorcycle brand in the USA. Entering European markets. After success in America, Honda expanded to Europe. Again, they faced skepticism. European manufacturers like BSA, Norton, and Ducati had long histories and loyal customers. But Honda motorcycles had advantages. They were reliable, didn't leak oil, a common problem with British bikes, and were affordably priced. European riders began to appreciate these qualities. Honda also entered motorcycle racing in Europe, competing in prestigious events like the Isle of Man TT. In 1961, Honda made history by winning the manufacturer's team prize. This success helped establish Honda's reputation for engineering excellence. By the mid-1960s, Honda motorcycles were popular in many countries around the world. The company had manufacturing plants in Belgium, Mexico, and Taiwan, in addition to Japan. Parts: 6 wheels instead of 2.
The car challenge.
By the early 1960s, Honda was the world's largest motorcycle manufacturer. But Soichiro had another dream: to build automobiles. Many people thought this was impossible. Building cars was much more complex than building motorcycles. The investment needed was enormous, and Japan already had established car companies like Toyota and Nissan. When Soichiro announced that Honda would make cars, some industry experts laughed. One magazine wrote Honda should stick to what it knows: motorcycles. But Soichiro was determined. He told his team, "Now is the time to take on our biggest challenge yet." First attempts. Honda's first production automobile was the 360 Mini truck, released in 1963. This small delivery vehicle had a tiny 360 engine, smaller than many motorcycle engines. It was designed for Japan's narrow streets and tight parking spaces. Soon after, Honda released the 500 sports car. This small, light car had a high-revving engine that showed Honda's motorcycle experience. It could spin up to 9,500 rpm, very unusual for a car engine at that time. These vehicles were well made but sold in small numbers. They helped Honda learn about car manufacturing, but they weren't breakthrough products. The Honda Civic. In 1973, something happened that changed the automotive world: the oil crisis. Gasoline prices soared, and suddenly, big American cars with V8 engines seemed wasteful and outdated. Consumers wanted fuel-efficient vehicles. Honda was ready with the perfect car: the Civic. This small car had a fuel-efficient engine, front-wheel drive for better space utilization, a transverse engine layout that made the car roomy despite its small size, the revolutionary CVCC engine that met emissions standards without a catalytic converter. The Civic was exactly what the market needed. It was affordable, reliable, and used little fuel. In America, people lined up at Honda dealerships to buy Civics, while larger cars sat unsold on other dealers' lots. The success of the Civic established Honda as a serious car manufacturer. It wasn't just a motorcycle company that made cars, it was now a true automotive innovator. The Accord's impact. Following the Civic's success, Honda released the Accord in 1976. Slightly larger than the Civic, the Accord combined economy with comfort and style. The Accord became one of the best-selling cars in America. In 1982, Honda made history by becoming the first Japanese company to manufacture cars in the United States, when it opened a plant in Marysville, Ohio. This move helped Honda avoid import restrictions and created thousands of American jobs. It showed Soichiro's global vision and willingness to adapt to different markets. Part 7 Leadership Philosophy. Respect for the individual. Soichirohonda had unusual management ideas for his time. While many Japanese companies were very hierarchical, with strict rules about seniority, Honda was different. The purpose of Honda is not to make motorcycles or cars, Soichiro often said. It is to help people realize their dreams. He believed in treating workers with respect. Everyone at Honda wore the same white uniform, from janitors to executives. This symbolized equality and teamwork. Soichiro encouraged employees to share ideas. He created a suggestion system where workers could propose improvements. Good suggestions were rewarded, no matter who made them. The joy of creating. Soichiro believed that work should be enjoyable. He said, work should be fun. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing. He created a company culture that celebrated creativity and innovation. Engineers were given time to work on their own projects. Failures were seen as learning opportunities, not reasons for punishment. One of Honda's company principles became the joy of creating. The idea that making things should bring happiness to both the creators and the users. Learning from racing. Throughout his life, Soichiro maintained his passion for racing. Honda entered automobile racing in the 1960s, competing in Formula One, the highest level of motorsport. Honda's first attempts weren't successful, but they learned from each failure and improved. By 1965, Honda won its first Grand Prix race. In 1988, Honda-powered cars won 15 out of 16 races, one of the most dominant seasons in Formula One history. Soichiro believed that racing was the best way to develop technology. Racing improves the breed, he would say. Innovations tested on racetracks often found their way into Honda's regular production vehicles. Environmental awareness. Long before it was common, Soichiro was concerned about pollution. He believed that vehicles should be efficient and clean. This thinking led to innovations like the CVCC engine, which met strict emission standards without expensive catalytic converters. When other car manufacturers complained that meeting emissions standards was impossible, Soichiro sent a Honda Civic with a CVCC engine to their headquarters. The message was clear: it could be done with enough ingenuity and effort. Part 8 Later Years and Legacy. Stepping back. In 1973, at age 67, Soichirohonda retired as president of Honda Motor Company. He remained as a director and advisor, but handed daily operations to younger leaders. Retirement didn't mean inactivity for Soichiro. He pursued many interests, including aviation. He got his pilot's license at age 77, becoming one of the oldest people in Japan to achieve this. He also became interested in environmental issues and supported reforestation projects in Japan. He would often say, "We only have one Earth, and we must take care of it." Honors and recognition. Throughout his later years, Soichiro received many honors. He was awarded the Royal Automobile Club Segrave Trophy for his contribution to motorsport. The Emperor of Japan presented him with the Order of the Rising Sun, one of Japan's highest honors. In 1989, he was inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame in Detroit, Michigan, a rare honor for a non-American. The citation recognized his extraordinary vision and entrepreneurial spirit. Despite these accolades, Soichiro remained humble. When asked about his success, he would often credit his workers and colleagues rather than himself. Final days. On August 5, 1991, Soichirohonda passed away at the age of 84. His funeral was attended by thousands of people, from ordinary workers to government officials and industry leaders. News of his death made headlines around the world. The New York Times called him the Japanese Henry Ford and one of the most remarkable business leaders of the 20th century. After his death, his wife Sachi revealed something touching throughout their long marriage. Soichiro had written her a love letter every day when he was away on business trips. This showed another side of the man known for his technical genius. He was also capable of deep love and commitment. Honda today. Today, Honda is one of the world's largest automobile and motorcycle manufacturers. The company produces over 5 million cars and 20 million motorcycles annually. Honda engines power everything from lawnmowers to private jets. The company continues to follow Soichiro's philosophy of innovation and respect for individuals. Honda maintains his belief that products should bring joy to both makers and users. The Super Cub motorcycle, Soichiro's breakthrough product, has sold over 100 million units, making it the most produced motor vehicle in history. The little bike that helped rebuild post-war Japan is still being manufactured today. In 2006, on what would have been his 100th birthday, Honda Motor Company established the Honda Prize, an annual award for scientific achievements that contribute to environmental harmony. Part 9 Life Lessons from Soichirohonda. Embrace failure. One of the most important lessons from Soichiro's life is his attitude toward failure. He never saw failure as something to be ashamed of. Instead, he saw it as a valuable learning opportunity. Success represents the one of your work which results from the 99 that is called failure, he often said. When his first piston rings were rejected by Toyota, he didn't give up. He studied harder and improved his products. When his factory was destroyed during the war, he found a new opportunity in motorized bicycles. This resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, was perhaps his greatest strength. Follow your passion. Soichiro didn't choose his career based on money or status. He followed what he loved, machines. From his childhood days watching his father's blacksmith shop to his final years flying airplanes, he always pursued his mechanical interests. If you hire people just because they can do a job, they'll work for your money, he said. But if you hire people who believe what you believe, they'll work with their blood and tears. He built his company around this principle, hiring people who shared his passion for creating excellent machines. Never stop learning. Despite limited formal education, Soichiro was always learning. When he needed to understand metallurgy to make better piston rings, he took night classes. When he wanted to build cars, he studied automotive engineering. He encouraged this same attitude in his employees. Honda Motor Company became known for its extensive training programs and support for continuing education. Learning is the fuel for living, he said. This philosophy kept his mind young and open to new ideas throughout his life. Dream big. Soichiro never limited his dreams because of his background. Born to a poor blacksmith in a small village, he created one of the world's largest companies. He didn't let his lack of education stop him from becoming an innovative engineer. Many people dream of success. To me, success can only be achieved through repeated failure and introspection, he explained. His life shows that with passion, persistence, and hard work, dreams can become reality. Be original. Soichiro never wanted to copy others. Even when Honda began making cars, he insisted on finding unique solutions to problems rather than imitating existing designs. We do not wish to imitate. Let others imitate us, he stated firmly. This commitment to originality led to many innovations: the CVCC engine, the Super Cub step-through design, and ISIMO, the humanoid robot developed by Honda in later years. Conclusion: the dream that keeps moving. Soichiro Honda's life journey from a curious child in a poor village to the founder of a global corporation is truly remarkable. His story reminds us that great achievements often begin with simple curiosity and passion. What made Soichiro special wasn't just his technical genius or business skills. It was his human qualities, his resilience in the face of setbacks, his respect for workers, his boundless curiosity, and his belief that everyone deserves mobility and freedom. The company motto, The Power of Dreams captures the essence of Soichiro's philosophy. He believed that dreams, backed by hard work and perseverance, can change the world. Today, millions of people around the world ride and drive Honda vehicles. Every time someone starts a Honda engine, they are experiencing the result of one man's dream. A dream that began when a small boy in rural Japan saw his first automobile and decided to follow the tire tracks it left behind. Soichirohonda's legacy lives on not just in the company that bears his name, but in the inspiration he provides to dreamers and inventors everywhere. His life teaches us that with enough determination, even the humblest beginnings can lead to extraordinary achievements.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe this channel and enjoy learning English.